guess it's time for us to hear my side of the story.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, my name's Ying.
I'm Leia again.
All right. So this time, okay, I'm gonna ask Leia questions. So first thing first, when did you hear about this virus?
I think it was around January the 20th.
January the 20th.
Yeah,
okay, you remember
like
the
about
day?
a week before Chinese New Year.
Okay, and you remember it very well.
No, I mean, I said around. I'm
Okay.
not entirely tracking the
Yeah.
date. But yeah, I kind of remembered it being about a week before Chinese New Year.
And how did you know about it?
From the news, people were discussing it online. I do have a lot of like I spend a lot of time online. I do read a lot of blogs and message boards and social network. So I do hear things from here and there.
And what was your first reaction?
My first reaction, I mean, it was just when the like pieces of news that just got out, I was like, okay, this seems kind of serious. I guess this is something that is happening in Wuhan right now, and yeah, it wasn't a big alarm, but it was kind of something that I kept in the back of my mind.
And then after you heard about it, did you do anything personally?
I heard about it around a week before Chinese New Year, and when as it approaches closer to Chinese New Year, and I mean, everybody knows there's like huge traffic, huge flow between the cities during the Chinese New Year. People are traveling everywhere during the Chinese New Year, so people have been like taking it more seriously, and but since I didn't have to travel, I didn't have to even go to work, or I didn't really have to get serious about it. I didn't really have to buy masks because I didn't think I needed to, right? But on the other hand, I was thinking, okay, just in case I had to go out, I do really have to have a mask, or I do really have to have something. Otherwise, I would just stay home. So there were two options really. I could stock up, or I could just decide to stay home and not go out, which was I tried the first option, but the mask really was sold out way before any lockdown happened. So I was like, just chose the easy way. I stayed in and didn't go out until until mid-March. I stayed home for 2 months
consecutively without going out for once.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you spend your time then?
Just like how I usually do. I spend most of my time on my laptop. Yeah.
And what did you do online mostly?
Everything. You do everything online.
Yeah.
Haven't you been living in our world? You can do everything online.
But I mean, how many hours do you spend on in front of your computer?
From when I open my eyes in the morning till I go to bed.
Well, that's like 15 hours maximum.
Yeah.
15 hours.
Yeah. If there is a power outage, I'm doomed.
Did you take a break in between?
I mean, define breaks.
Okay, define breaks like a 20 minutes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Sometimes I would just draw or paint, but I do digital drawings, so that's also in front of a screen. Pretty much, I don't leave computer screen or my phone screen alone. Yeah.
But I couldn't do that because my eyes would hurt.
Yeah. Look at this. Look at this. That's what happens.
All right. What about your, eyesight or your eye condition?
It's already been horrible.
But like this 2 months, this 2 months do any harm to it that you could physically feel it?
Maybe my eyesight got worse, but nothing to get alarmed about, because I've already been pretty bad at looking at seeing stuff.
Okay. Tell me the most interesting thing you did during this quarantining time.
I drew stuff, and okay, so I'm not a professional artist, but I really like to paint. So I did paint a lot. I draw stuff on my tablet a lot. Yeah, I share them on my Instagram, and people seem to like them.
All right. And the least interesting thing you did?
What do you mean, sleeping?
Apart from sleeping, I mean, like apart from getting a rest.
So I guess chores. I don't really like to do chores, but when you're in house for so long, you have to do chores. So, yeah.
Were you in the house with someone?
I sound like a teenager. I don't like chores. But that's true. That's me.
Were you in? I mean, during this 2 months of quarantining time, were you there with someone, or you were there alone?
Oh, I live with my mom. Yeah, I've been living with her for, I guess, 2 years.
So during these 2 months, did you two do anything?
Any activities
together that you don't normally do?
It's not really. She's way more active than I am.
In terms of,
like, she goes out from time to time.
Okay, she was not in the house all the time.
She wasn't. Yeah, she goes out. She goes to buy groceries, and I tell her that we can buy online. We can order stuff in. We can get stuff delivered. But she didn't. I guess she wanted to be outside. Yeah.
Was she afraid?
I guess she wasn't. I guess I was worried about her more than she worries about herself. I wasn't worried about myself because I knew that I could not have had it since I was inside the whole time. But I was kind of worried about her. But I guess she wasn't as worried.
All right. And did that bother you?
A little bit in the beginning. But because we have this little app on our phone that lets you track the cases in Shanghai.
Really? I didn't know about this.
You weren't here. Everybody had access to it, so you could track the cases in Shanghai, and you can know that, like, each case where they're basically where they have been.
Even now?
I think so, but there are new cases from locally. So when you track them right now, you can only see that every case is from the airport.
I see.
But back when I guess a month or two ago, you could track new cases. And I was tracking it. I was looking at it, and there weren't a lot happening. Because there were only hundreds of cases in Shanghai, and close to where I live in Puxi, which is significantly less cases than there were in Pudong. So there were fewer, activities, COVID-19 cases in my neighborhood. So I was a little bit not as worried, I guess.
Did you feel bored?
What do you mean?
During that 2 months of staying at home?
It wasn't boring for me personally, I guess. It's just how I live my life.
Yeah. But like before the situation, you did go out quite often, right?
I did. I would go to malls and sit in a cafe and write and draw. So the only thing that was different is that I draw at home now. I write at home now.
So
no coffee though.
So not going out was not an issue for you.
It wasn't.
Yeah. What about socializing then? 2 months not meeting anyone but your mom. Yeah. Was that difficult? How did you, deal with social life? I mean, like not seeing like people you usually see for like 2 months. Was that difficult for you?
Not really. Well, we have internet. Like I said, we can always have, chats on social media. I feel like for people who is very, I'm not saying that I'm isolated, but I practice social distancing from time to time. Generally, yeah. Yeah.
But you didn't give it like a name when you did it, right?
Well, when I did it, I just call it my me time.
Okay. Did you have when you were like doing the social distancing thing? Did you have friends who were in areas where the virus was pretty bad?
Initially, okay, so the only friend that I have was from Wuhan or I guess surrounding area was you.
Yeah.
You were the only person who mentioned to me that you were going back to Wuhan for New Year.
Yeah.
Chinese New Year. And I just so happened I read about that thing, and I was actually telling you to maybe not go back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were the only person that I was genuinely kind of worried about. And for everybody else, I knew they would be safe. And I just talked to people from time to time, and knowing that they're fine, I'll just stay at home and
I mean, like staying in the house for 2 months. Okay, do you think it's kind of has changed you in some way? I mean, physically, emotionally, mentally.
Well, I do feed myself a lot of unhealthy food, so physically I may have put on some weight. Emotionally, I'm pretty tranquil. I'm pretty calm about everything. I'm a relaxed person in general.
When did you decide to come out?
About when did I started going outside mid-March, when there were no new cases in Shanghai, and I felt that it was safe. So I came out. I did like several grocery runs. I did. There was one particular like really nice day outside, so I went outside and took a lot of pictures.
All right. How did you feel about going out with a mask on?
It was really hard to breathe through the mask, to be honest, but it was okay. I know that I'm doing this as a precaution for both for myself and for everybody else.
Was it weird for you to wear the mask in the first place?
I was like, it's not necessarily weird. It was less. I thought it was less about myself, but about the whole society, the whole, general public health.
Did you see people not wearing it?
When I was outside, I saw several people, but it was already mid-March when there were no new cases. But I don't know. I don't know about anything that happened before that because I was always indoors.
All right. So, and then now, what about now? Like, do you just like, you know, pretty much like doing regular things like you used to do before the virus?
Yeah, nothing really has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very very lazy. Really I don't really do much, not active at all.
You do have a lot of friends in other parts of the world at the moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like you were in LA before, and then you have friends from other countries. Are you in contact with them? And then like, since you have experienced this, you know, social
Mm-hmm.
distancing, and then they are probably in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you discuss with them, and like, do they ask you questions or?
Yeah. Because like I said, we're hearing more cases globally, and like the situations are worsening in some parts of the world. I am I Those my friends, like they have both messaged me and I have messaged them about this. I am mostly, like, I was worried about them, like my friend in the UK and my friend in the US, and they have also messaged back about what was it like when, like, Shanghai was having that, and we've exchanged information, and I'll continue to talk to them about it, and hopefully it will blow over soon. It'll be over soon. Hopefully we find a cure.
Do you see yourself looking at this situation, differently from like now your friends in other countries? I'm not sure about their, condition. Like, are they like worried or afraid, or are they having difficulty getting by? Um, and then when you started doing it, and then towards the end, I mean, like any kind of change and stuff, and then how do you like cheer them up and stuff?
I don't know. Well, I guess the only advice from me to them is just to stay indoors, like I did. But I really hope that they stay safe. Yeah. I don't have more advice for it. Just yeah, hang on, stay in, and don't go out. That would probably be the most effective thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you see this like, I mean, like nobody can predict, like personally, do you see this whole global situation getting over soon?
I do really hope it get over soon. Like tomorrow. I hope it's over tomorrow. But I'm not an expert on. I'm not a medical expert, so I cannot really say.
Yeah.
I cannot really say.
And even them, they're very careful now.
Yeah.
So, what's the first thing you would like to do after the whole thing is?
After the whole thing is over, I go to the movies. I haven't been to the movie theaters for so long.
They're not open now, right? In Shanghai.
They tried to open it like 2 days ago, and immediately they decided it wasn't a good idea. So, like, nothing is open.
Yeah.
But I haven't been to a theater for so long.
Yeah.
I miss it.
Go to the movies, and then what about any other things apart from like
I guess I'll join a gym. Because I put on a lot of weight. I don't know.
All right. Did you talk to when you were like at home for this 2 months? Did you talk to people who were doing the same thing? They were also indoors. Did you talk to them? Okay, like your friends and family, and did they cope with that like the way you did it?
I've talked to some friends, and some of them are playing Switch. Some of them are just having, some of them are having babies, so they're just taking their time off with their family and their kids. Yeah. People have different ways to cope with this, and some have even benefited from being inside, like having more time with their family and kids. Yeah.
So that's the silver lining.
I wouldn't say that it's silver lining, but you gotta find something positive. Then there's this. If you have to find something positive out of this, then yeah, you stay with your family more.
Yeah. If you had to give some advice to some people like me, I was, I managed not to be, indoors, and I'm sure there are people who are having difficulties, finding themselves at home, and then keeping themselves, how to say, content, occupied, or yeah, like what would you say to them?
Read books, listen to audiobooks, watch movies and shows. These are really relaxing to do, but if you want to be creative, you can draw, you can write. You're a good writer, and like you can spend more time on writing, and anything is possible. I don't think like you are limited by the space there you're in. You can work something out. Everybody should be able to work something out.
All right.
Just don't think of yourself that you still have access to the internet. You still can talk to your friends, your families.
Yeah. There's still a privilege that we have.
Yeah.
I mean, like, our internet is really fast. Yeah, and then online delivery. Yeah.
Especially, like, I got a lot of groceries delivered to me. Even I bought some stuff that I normally wouldn't get in a normal grocery shop. I find it really easily online. So I bought those type of things. But I guess that's a privilege only to Chinese people.
Yeah.
Globally, I don't think any other country has as great a delivery system as China does have.
I mean, generally speaking, there were, a lot of apps where you can do your own online, like, grocery shopping. Were there more apps during the period of time? I mean, like, new apps, just because of the situation. There were more?
Yeah.
Well, that was fast.
I mean, I installed some newer apps for this. I guess.
Like, what kind of apps?
I don't know if it's designed specifically for this, but there are some, like, grocery shopping apps that I found that I downloaded recently just because of this. Yeah.
All right. And was the delivery, like, more expensive than usual? Usually it was for free, right? Okay. Like, because the situation was tough. I mean, like, and delivery people still worked. And was there an increase in delivery fee?
Not necessarily. I don't know. I thought it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't noticeable. Maybe it's because it's Shanghai. It's not the more serious areas.
Yeah. Did you buy anything, like, other than grocery?
I bought other stuff online. I bought a lens for my camera. Too bad we're not using it today.
Yeah.
I bought arts and crafts stuff.
Did you, like, do that just because you had more time, or you always like it's just the right time to buy it?
I try to not think of it as irrational impulse buys, but some of like it kind of
happened, huh?
was, yeah. But I didn't really spend a lot on those kind of things.
Maximum, what's the longest period of time you could practice social distancing?
You mean stay indoors?
Staying indoors.
I've done it for 2 months.
This is the longest.
Yeah, I could have. Yeah, I could do it longer. Yeah, it's possible that but I live with my mom, so I have somebody to talk to. As maybe you think it's a little bit better than just staying by yourself. And for yeah, maybe it's not a hijacked quarantine situation.
All right. Would you like to be self-quarantined? It's an evil question to ask. Would you prefer to be self-quarantined? I mean, like, by yourself?
Nobody else.
Nobody else.
It's not something that I prefer. But it's sure. I could do it with the internet, of course, and food and enough of those necessity. Yeah, it's possible.
Cause
but
like
I don't prefer it.
Yeah, cause like I was having a lesson with a student. She's 9 years old, and yesterday she was just asking me, "Do you live alone?" And I'm like, "Yes." And then she was like, "Oh, that's the dream life." And I'm like, "Why?" And then she was like, "Let me draw a picture." So she drew a picture of a person, lying down there with her legs up, and then she was like, and a phone in her hand, and then she was like with a bowl of some like instant noodles. That's the perfect life that I would imagine. So so yeah, so I cannot assume that there are a lot of people like her. I mean, like they are perfectly okay with the internet and food supply. Yeah. So
I don't know. Some people really might prefer it. I'm not one of those people, but yeah, I can imagine that some people might even prefer it. If they don't have a really good relationship with their family or roommates, they might even they are dying to get out of their current situation that they're living with the other people. But I'm really okay with my mom being there. So
yeah. Okay. All right. I think that'll be.
Yeah.
That's all the questions that I have.
That's from me.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Stay safe.
Stay safe, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. That'll be all for now.